Okay, our next step is to configure the OpenSSL. Let the OpenSSL generate the certificate for our Apache usage. That's the whole process. Not too easy, but also not too complicated. But the idea is very important to understand. I have already pasted a flow chart to show you the process and file which will be generated and output. From my environment, I will combine it together, which means the Apache server is the same server as the root CA server, but in the real, in the real product environment, the root CA should be and must be always be standalone server, distinguish any other function server. But for my simple environment, I will combine it together, which means that we will generate we can see the process. We will generate a key pair for the root CA. It's the CA row, CA key first. Then we will generate a CA certificate. That's for the CA level. In the public domain, the CA key and the CA certificate, we can never touch it because that's the important key file for a public CA. Just like the DigiCert, the main service DigiCert is to sign the certificate for the customer. Just imagine that if someone can steal the signature from DigiCert, so we cannot imagine that how the guy can do the bad things in the real case. So in the real case, we will not get, if the public see, we will not get this one. And we will generate our private key first, then we'll generate the CSR file, the same concept and process as the public CA certificate application. So I highly suggest that you can compare this short video with the previous one that compared together, so you will get the fully understand of the whole process. We will use it. And the last step is got our certificate to our Apache usage. Okay. Then we move to our environment. I have already installed the OpenSSL. The commander is very simple. Okay. Then we'll go to the Apache site location, and I will go to the sites enable directory. That's the default. We can see the default web host file, and we will run this commander. I have already copied this commander to my server, so let's take a look. Just a very simple copy paste. Okay, the first one is generate the CA for the CA private key. So it will set a password. My password CISSP. Okay. Now we got the first file ca.key. That's the private key for our CA. And the next we will generate our CA certificate. This certificate including our public key information. It will let us set the country name, the organization name. I will leave it default. Okay. Now we got the CA certificate. Okay. Next step always should be moved to the application server, but just as I mentioned, we combine two service application, Apache and root C together. So we will do the step in this virtual machine as the same. Okay. Okay, another private key. This private key is for our Apache server. Okay, generate the CSR file. Okay, country name I also leave it default, but common name. This step should be unique. We should import our FQND name. So do you still remember last video I show you the using the vpn.fandos.com, and in this case I will use the www.CISSPdemos.com. Okay, now we got the full file and get the CSR. We can take a look at the CSR file first. Okay, that's just a standard, I think the PKPG, if my memory serves, that's the standard format for the CSR file, which also including the public key. Okay. Okay, the last step is to signature and to approve our application request. Also, the final step should be finished by the CA. You can see the 1, 2, 4, 5 should be finished by the CA, and the 3 and the 4 should be finished by our client. Okay. Oh. Okay, typo here. You should leave a space here. Yeah. Okay. All right, now we got our IA cert. This is the certificate for our Apache use. Nano IA.crt. All right, we can see the certificate information here. Okay, so now let's back to our slide. Now we finished the steps to generate our certificate. Then we will input this certificate to Apache server. Also very easy. Yes, we can take a look. We got 5 key or certificate or the CSR file. Now we should edit this file to our Apache Nano. Okay. First, we should change the port from the 80 to 443, and here I have already marked the code. Okay. Here I want to stress that the server name should be exactly match the the web server name we want to use, and the SSL engine on SS certificate file. That's our certificate Apache certificate IA.crt. That's the root CA information, the CA CRT, and also we will point out the our private key location. All right, save it. Okay, and make the Apache test first. Config test. All right, syntax. Okay, then systems here, restart our Apache server, which also let us to import the password for our CA. Oh, sorry, which also ask us the password for our certificate, not our CA. Okay, now let's back to our client. Windows 10. This time we will not use the HTTP, we will use the HTTPS. Okay, secure connection failed. Something wrong here? Because, as I mentioned, the certificate we generate here, it's the private CA. And our Windows 10 didn't know what's your private CA. You make a declaration, now you got the certificate which is signed by your root CA, but I don't trust your root CA. Yeah, I don't trust you. So what's next? It's very easy. Just let our client to trust the private root CA. Okay. We will copy the root CA file. Actually is the CA certificate. Which file is the CA certificate? It should be this file. It should be the CA cert. Okay. Okay, now we copy the root CA certificate to our Windows client. We can double click it. You can see here it's not trust, right? So we should install the certificate to our trust root CA certificate. Input, local machine, open, next. Alright. We can take a look at the CA certificate we input, generated by the OpenSSL. It's this one. That's the root CA information. Okay. And then we can refresh again. HTTPS. Okay, we can see the difference here is that we're using the HTTPS domain name to visit our website, and here we got a lock. Yeah, we click this lock. We can see the certificate information. We can view certificate. The same CISSP demos. You can see this information is about the. We can make a comparison. Oops. Yeah. This information is the CA we generate for the Apache is the ia.crt file. And our root CA information, this CA we import is for the CA CRT. So we should know the matching relationship. That's very important. Okay, our last steps is to use Wireshark again to capture the HTTPS. Start. Okay, the same. Remove the filter. We close our browser first, then we reopen it. Type our domain name. Yeah. Okay, let's move to Wireshark. Okay. It should be look like not. It should be filter the protocol. Of course, the web browser got other maybe the background connection to some website. I think we can filter our approach the IP address. Yeah. We can see the certificate, server exchange, all the information encrypted, and I will show you the further information and how to make the session key input to the Wireshark to read plain text or this information. But now we can see all the information is encrypted by the session key. Okay, that's our this demo. Thank you.